welcome to Teachers Off Duty. If this is your first time joining us, my name is Rebecca Rogers. I'm R. Rogers World on all social media platforms.
My name is Tell Williams. I'm Mr. Williams Pre-K on social media platforms.
I'm Bree Richardson, Honest Teacher Vibes on all social media platforms. Follow my YouTube because it sucks and I don't have any followers.
And I'm Lauren Woolley, Mrs. Woolley in 5th on all social media. And I forgot to check my YouTube.
We know that, like, the bane of teachers' existence, like the butt of most jokes, is going to be teacher evaluations.
Hey!
Lauren hit 300K on YouTube.
300K.
Yay! Oh my gosh, I knew it would be so soon.
Okay.
But anyways, celebration.
I just wanted to dance for Tuesday. Okay, we're good.
We're good. We celebrated.
Nah,
Congratulations.
you gotta get up and do the Dougie in the middle of the flow.
But anyways, we know something that all teachers can relate to is evaluations and admin evals, whether they go not as expected or something goes wrong.
Can I give a sound effect?
Oh, yes.
Go ahead.
That's what I think of when I think of evaluations.
Oh my, see, I feel like everyone has such different experiences with evaluations.
Nah, it all sucks.
I mean, it all sucks, but like for different reasons.
My bad.
For different reasons.
True that.
So like for mine, you know, especially as a new teacher, I wanted to know what I needed to fix. What do you think that I could have done better? And my admin wouldn't stay for more than 5-10 minutes in the classroom, and I'm like,
Yeah, they only have to watch for 10 minutes.
What do you mean? Can you how do you know? You were only there for 10
And
minutes,
they have
and
to
Jimmy
find
was
something
giving
wrong.
a project.
At least they said you were great. It could have been like, you were awful. You saw 10 minutes, man. Like,
Right.
what?
And Jimmy was giving a presentation. Like, how do you didn't
Like,
see
I didn't do
anything I
anything,
did?
yeah.
See,
No,
my-
they
my-
saw the objective on the board. That's what was great.
This is my strategy. Whatever point you come in, because they try to come in at the beginning of the class, you gonna come in when I'm taking attendance. They doing bell work. Don't play with me. That's 10
Right.
minutes. Matter of fact, really play with me. And as soon as you walk in, I'm gonna be like, okay, guys, time to take our restroom break. You're gonna be toe up because what you observing other than chaos? Because it's a hot mess when they go to the bathroom. I ain't gonna do it.
How long do your evaluations last?
They do be in there for longer than 5 or 10. I don't know what kind of eval
See,
you have.
they're
They be in there for
supposed
5
to
or 10
be-
minutes.
They're supposed to be 30 to 45 minutes,
They
but
be in there.
depending on the kind of administrator you get,
Yeah.
I mean, at my first school, I kid you not, they were only in there for a couple minutes, and I'm like, you didn't
Yeah.
look at anything.
During the
wait.
pandemic, they was short because they really didn't have
misspoke.
time.
What did
I
you
was
do during
thinking
the
of
pandemic?
like
Go on Zoom?
I was
Yes.
thinking of like my ed TPA from college. It was a 10-minute clip, and that's what they were judging you on. That's what I was
Oh.
thinking of. You are right. It is like 30 minutes.
Right, it's supposed to be, and the one time it wasn't, it was during. So at my last school, you know, I'm losing it. So
We're tired.
my principal was the one
We're
who
talking
did
about
all.
evaluations and
Listen, I don't blame you in my evaluation.
Hearing
so
the word
tired. Me
evaluation
too.
like puts me in panic mode. Okay.
Yeah,
But so like
same.
I was learning. We were learning about Native Americans. We were talking about the Incas, the Aztecs, and we were talking about how you know, there were some Native American tribes who, you know, preserved their ancestors, their family members as mummies, and how interesting it was that, you know,
Right.
they were so far away
That
from
whole process is,
Egypt.
like, kind of
right.
fascinating a
And
little bit.
like
I get to teach that standard a little bit, like a
It's
touch
so
on
cool.
it. It's so interesting to hear
Right.
about their ways of life.
And it's awesome, and it's so interesting to talk to the kids about, because, you know, Egypt and, you know, South America or Mesoamerica are so far away from each other geographically. There was no way
Right,
the
so
two
it's like, how
types
did
of
that-
places
right.
would have been able, but they had, you know, pyramid-type structures. They used mummification, just really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had the kids watch a clip, and then, of course, as we come back to discuss the clip, my principal pops in for an observation, like on Zoom,
They don't
you know,
never
or
come
Google
in at the
Meet.
right time.
Right.
And so
Wait,
I
on your Google Meet during remote
on
learning.
Google Meet, yeah, on Google Meet.
Boy, bye. No.
Oh, bye, Felicia.
And the kids were like, Miss Rogers, like, question, you know, they said that they, you know, the mummified ancestors, you know, they sit at the dinner table, they sit them, like, they put them in the bathroom in case they have to use the bathroom, like, they act as
They
if,
be moving them
you know,
around?
yes,
did?
as if, yeah, they dress them up as if they're still
Oh.
there, you know, they're still the heads of the family.
I thought they was in that little tomb or whatever. That
no,
little thing.
no, not
Baby,
in
if I walk in somebody's
Mesoamerica.
house and they mummy sit.
And so
Took that off.
my kids straight up ask me, they have no idea the principal's there. Like, they don't get it. They straight up ask me if they position the mummies to do, like, sexual things.
oh,
I was
why-
like, oh
I know you teach high school. I know you teach high school because of that.
I just started panicking, and I was like, I don't think so. And then of course,
Why
like
would they even ask that?
no, like let's move on. And then of course another kid chimes in. I just Googled it because they're on. Yeah, there are people who have found it. I'm like mute. Like, oh, is your microphone off? I don't know what happened. So sorry.
Them kids be saying crazy
on.
stuff. Somebody sent me a story one time and said that they superintendent of schools came in to observe them. If the superintendent of schools walks in to observe
That's
me, I'm
scary.
probably gonna pass out.
That's scary.
I don't like people watching me. Why when they come in to do observations, they always go to the kid that has no idea what we're doing?
Oh,
who is
every
asleep
time.
every class period. I should observe y'all going to the wrong student. Check, went to talk to the wrong student. You're fired. So he sat behind. If you watch me on TikTok, my name for my character is Tristan. That's who. It's a representation of all the boys in my classes that are crazy and that irritate me, but I love them. So our kids, they don't, especially you teach in the inner city, they don't like new people, okay? Because who is this guy? Especially if you walk in like a suit and tie, who are you?
And they're protective of their teachers.
They are protective
Yeah.
of their teacher, because who are you? How you just gonna walk in my teacher classroom? Miss Wilson, who is that? How you just gonna walk in? This ain't in his classroom. He don't even go here. I ain't never even seen my man before.
He doesn't even go here.
It's fine. Chill. So he came in and sat right behind Tristan. Tristan turned around, look at his teacher during her observation, turns around and goes, who the hell is this guy? And points to him behind. And the teacher was like, I literally wanted to melt into the floor. And she was like, the superintendent because he used to be a teacher. So he was like, it's fine. But kids are protective of that. They don't like new teachers, no new friends.
No. In my school, okay, so like I said before, I used to teach at an inner city school, and it was a school that was under academic watch. So we had the state in there, we had the county in there all the time. So they used to do walkthroughs on a daily basis, pretty much. And they could come in at any point in time. But they wouldn't just come in and it be the principal and the county lady. It would be the principal, the superintendent, the associate superintendent, the county lady, the leader of the education, whatever. There would be 7 people standing in the back of the room, and they're like, just carry on.
And the kids are like, why these people back here
standing
here watching us? They're the police. I don't know these people.
No, they're like, I am not. And they come in with and I know we've all seen the parody TikToks of the principals coming in the classroom. They always come in with the jingly keys and the walkie-talkie.
Yep.
And the walkie-talkie.
Ma'am, silence your walkie-talkie and your keys. And while you at it, silence yourself. Don't say no
But why
words. I hear y'all back there whispering, and I can't focus, and neither can my
I'm
kids.
also confused. We have a master key to the entire. So when you come in, you have a key to the thing, and then it opens all the. Why do you have 14,000 keys on that? The weird. Okay, so I can physically hear the pre-K early childhood people I'm not gatekeeping observations.
Right.
So the director or principal ones those suck. We have to be observed by the state once or twice a year, and then every so often, if you're in the Head Start program, you get a federal agent come in and observe your classroom all day.
Yeah.
And you are not allowed to talk to them. They cannot talk to the students, and they just leave. You have no idea how you did.
Did the kids talk to them?
The kids, of course the kids talk to them.
Right, okay.
And they don't just, we're not here. I'm like, these kids have some kind of, a lot of my students have trauma that you can't just walk in.
They're like,
And
Mom,
don't-
I
and
fished
and
all
say-
today and stared at me
right.
all day.
And we're technically not allowed. We're supposed to be outside of it. I'm not here. Ma'am, you are
Yes,
just
you
sitting there
are.
just
You are right there.
lurking
Yeah.
over these
Yeah.
kids.
with your iPad.
Orthopedic shoes on.
Always, it's always
always an
the
iPad.
It's always the iPad.
Always.
I don't. It's odd. And how you do that day out of one day of observations. And there's rules like this. Were the children's cots 6 feet away from each other, head, toe, and sides, for 20 kids in the classroom during nap time? No, it was not. Well, then you get a 1 or a 0. When you went outside,
Why
did
don't
the
you
kid-
add some extra square
Right.
footage?
Also,
and then we'll have them
part of the
6 feet
observation,
apart.
did you go outside today for this amount of time in free outside time? You didn't there wasn't a game you were playing. Oh, it was only 23 degrees. You can't go outside. So I'm gonna have to dock you for that though. Even though you have no.
You get docked for you
say.
can't go outside.
You can't. I can't. These are the observations that you have at the
insane.
pre-K level.
I would have
It
been
is
every kid, get your
bizarre.
boots and your coat. We're going outside.
We're going outside. Y'all gonna freeze today.
Yeah, I'm like, it's fine. It's
We going
actually,
outside.
I think that with the wind chill, it's actually a little bit warmer.
You're gonna be a
no.
popsicle today.
Oh, it is.
wow.
And little things anytime they come back from outside, they have to wash their hands. And anytime that they go from one activity to another, they have to wash their hands. And so it's you practice, they're coming, so you practice the week before, and then they're in there and you're like, oh no, you sneezed, Johnny. What do you do now? And he's like, say, excuse me. I'm like, go wash your hands. like, you know how you like talk to your kids before they come?
Like, but you can't say, go wash your hands.
No,
because obviously in that moment, Johnny doesn't know. So tell him, teach him. Yeah. Like, but then you get docked for that. It makes no sense.
Man. What really makes no sense, and I still don't understand. Like, it is 2020 or 2022.
Yeah, it is 2020 again.
I don't know what time
What year is it?
2020 felt like a long time.
2022. I'm like really struggling this episode, y'all. It's fine.
It's okay.
It is 2022. How do administrators still not understand that the kids don't read the objective on the board?
They don't care.
I don't understand.
But they know it's not for the kids because I tried to read the standard to my kids. My kids was looking at me like, Miss Richardson, why is you reading this to us? We don't even know what you just said. The half them words you just read, I don't know what. I can't spell them, nor can I understand what you're talking about.
Like, I will, like, and I'm not going to try and pretend like I'm perfect. Like, at the beginning of lessons.
We know you're perfect, Lauren.
Do not say that because I'll get some people coming after me. Thinking
and let them come. Let them come. Let them come.
Mad about her eyeliner again.
Oh, my God. We'll get to that.
I will literally, we'll get to that. I'm like, if you want to fight, just say
Someone
that
told Lauren she was unprofessional because she wears eyeliner.
If you want me to teach you, just say it. Like, it's not that hard. Anyway, at the beginning of a lesson, like, I'm not going to pretend like I say it every single time because I'm human. I forget.
Right.
But for the most part, like, I'll tell them, like, okay, when I'm reading this book to you today, I want you to blah, blah, blah. And that's their purpose for learning.
Right.
But if I'm going to sit there at the front of my board and say, I can analyze historical, scientific, and technical texts. No.
You lost them as soon as you said analyze.
Yeah.
They
lost that. I realized you started talking. I was like, what is she pointing at?
Exactly.
That's what the kids do.
100%. I was like, I heard a word I didn't like at the beginning of that.
You guys
are the
students today.
Oh my God.
am.
I get so stressed out when they come in and watch. Like, now I feel less stressed out, but I still get so like my first year teaching, it used to stress me out so bad when they came in to observe that, like, my hands would be shaking and I would literally be sweating. Like, it was like the most nerve-wracking thing.
Yeah.
It was so. I'm like, I don't like for people to watch me. I know that's like. That sounds weird.
It's not watching, it's critiquing.
No.
Like, they're looking for something wrong.
It's like they have to find
that's nerve-wracking.
Well, and I think it also depends on the administrator. So, like, if I'm comparing my two school experiences, like, obviously, the school I taught at that was under Academic Watch, they are stressed, and therefore they translate that to us. So every time I was being evaluated by my principal, I knew I was gonna get it. Like, it didn't matter what I did. I could have taught the greatest lesson on earth. I was still gonna get, like, developing or skilled.
Yeah.
No one's getting what is it? Proficient. No, it's like the highest tier. I forget.
Accomplished.
That's accomplished. I don't even reach that, so that's why I don't even know what
I
it's
don't
called.
even know the word
but
for
it. So,
I can't spell that.
So, like, my new principal though at the school I'm at currently, I love her, and I don't get nervous teaching in front of her now because I know, like, she sees me for what I'm worth.
She knows
she's not, like, out to get me. You know what I mean? To catch me doing something wrong. So, like, I think it depends on the relationship and how your principal makes you feel too.
I don't like too the fact that, like, there's some things in your classroom you just can't control.
Exactly.
Yes.
Like, one time my principal walked past. My kids had been working on stuff, and I love my principal. Like, he's a really great principal. Some of these people, the stories y'all be sending me about y'all's principals, baby, my principal could never. He would never do that. But he walked past, and my principal's like, he's pretty serious looking. Like, he's a really kind person, but his face, like, he just looks serious. And so it was my first year, and I was a long-term sub my first year. So I didn't know him that well. I didn't know our sixth grade principal that well.
You get evaluated as a long-term sub?
No, this wasn't the evaluation.
Okay.
This just has to do with, like, the principal, like, the random times they pop up. So my kids don't never throw things. Like, it was just such a random thing. Like, they know, don't play with me. Don't throw nothing in my class. A kid threw a paper ball for some odd reason. It popped somebody, like, right on the forehead. And this girl who never says anything, she don't never laugh, she don't never talk, she don't never say nothing, started howling, laughing, like cackling. Like, really loud. My principal came walking past, and he stopped dead in his tracks and came and looked in my door, and I was looking at him, and he was looking at me, and we was looking at each other, and I wanted to be like, sir, I really don't know why she laughed like that.
No idea what happened.
Please hear me when I say that. I promise they don't laugh like that. Like, she don't even talk. She don't never say no words. If a fire break out, she would have had to have a whistle because she don't never say nothing.
Yeah.
It's like funny to me that they think that we can control them.
Yeah.
As if, like, we
So
force them to
stressful.
pick up the wad of paper and chuck it across the room and
And I
force
was
her to
just
tackle
like,
at it.
why
Like,
would you do that? Like,
Right.
after the fact, you ask the kids why they did. I ain't do that. Boy, I saw you through the daggone paper.
Especially her, if she's never talked before, you probably be like, why did you laugh? And she's like, I'll never laugh again.
Oh my God. Like she talks, but like that was just such an uncharacteristic thing for her because she never would just bust out. But if you would have seen it, it's like the paper flew across the room in slow motion and literally hit a kid square in the middle of the forehead. And the sound that it made when it hit them was like it just popped right off of that, and she could not even control the laughter that came. And I just did not know how to explain to him, like, sir, I promise they don't be in here acting the fool like that. But for some reason,
well,
yeah,
it was that stressed me out.
That you can't even control. I had someone send me a story, and they said that they were evaluated by admin.
Yeah,
they teach science, and the entire room has no windows. You know, so like even though there's
I cannot imagine being in a
right,
classroom with no windows.
Isn't that
how you teach science? They can't see outside.
Literally my brother's classroom. It's a science lab and has like no exterior like windows, doors, nothing.
So they
and
in jail.
It's like you're in prison all day.
It's like gases are being used though. Like, what happens if something happens?
Dangerous.
Yeah.
Like
you better hope that ventilation's good.
Yeah.
But so there's no windows. It's completely windowless, and so there's the fluorescent lights.
Yeah.
We were really struggling today. And so, you have those, but there's no windows. There's no natural light. In the entire time during the post-op observation, the principal just wanted to talk to them about how it was too dark in the room and that she really should be investing in some lamps.
Okay,
because there need to be more
what you mean
lamps.
invested?
And she's like, I don't get paid enough to pay for all of these lamps at different points of the room.
And what's
like,
wrong with the fluorescent lights? Were that fluorescent? Because them some like police lights. Like them,
I don't know.
Why were they not bright enough?
I have no idea. She just said that the principal was like, you need more lights. You should invest in some lamps.
Did you say what grade she taught?
I want to say it was like a high school level.
Oh.
This would be my face with that admin looking at me going, buy more lamps. I'd be like, you buy more lamps.
Like, the woman was too stunned to speak.
You do it.
I make $12 every week.
Okay.
You buy that lamp.
You do it.
Like,
You making me mad sometimes.
They don't update some of the standards. So when I remember being like looking at our state evals and like when it says like the classroom has to be because your classroom has to be set up a very specific way, and they still went by
I had to do a practicum in pre-K. It is legit
hard.
It's intense. People don't think pre-K is like it is intense.
You like they'll be like your imaginative play and your library area cannot be in the same spot, and this one has to have 3 corners to it, but this one has to have 2.
What is the logic behind that?
What?
It is
like the dramatic play area
has to have like it is. I can't. It is the most bizarre thing ever. But they did things, and we had no idea how to gauge it. I was lucky enough that one of my my room had like 2. It was all one room, but there was like a little like pathway that between the 2 it was huge.
Yeah.
And the second one where we did all of the arts stuff and like. It was nothing but windows. It was amazing. But the other side only had 1 window, so it got pretty dark.
Right.
And we were looking at how bright does it have to be, because I don't use, technically in pre-K, in like early childhood, they tell you not to use fluorescent light and to use more natural lighting or like low lighting because it's calming.
Yeah.
But then there's the thing I was like, it has to be at least 12 candlelights.
12 candles?
What in the 1800s are you taught? What is a
What in the
candlelight?
tassel shoes?
And so I sat there and I was like, I worked at an electrical department at a like I was gonna say this is how like not butch I am. I was gonna say at a tool store, at a hardware store, and I was thinking to myself, I sold light bulbs. I've never heard of candlelight. I've heard of watts.
Okay, in my hometown there we have a fair every year. And inside the fairgrounds, there is like a preserved old village. And it's like, I love going every year just because it's cool to see.
Right.
Yeah.
So they have like an old 1-room schoolhouse there. So like you go in there and on the wall is posted like the placard of the rules the teachers had to follow. And it was like,
Those
the teacher must wear 2
crazy.
petticoats at all times. And they
must be escorted by another woman.
Must be escorted by another woman and be back before 8 o'clock every day. And I'm like,
before sundown, you like lived at the
you must have
schoolhouse.
12 candlelights at all times.
They
Like,
did.
They say it like
Ohio has a very pristine accent when they speak.
and they use this accent every time. You must use this accent when you teach arithmetic
Why
in
are
the
you talking
classroom.
like that?
Oh,
I don't know.
I'm like, what?
Okay, I got a serious question though. This is like totally random, but when you was talking about like the pre-K classroom and the setup, I want to know them carpets that y'all got in pre-K class. They be shampooing them carpets.
yeah.
They do shampoo them?
Well, you have
Because them carpets, they're like the fungi lurking.
Yeah,
because you have those
kindergarten
scabies out
classes,
you never want to take that carpet and flip it upside down and look at the backside. It's like that's not a color I've ever seen before. But like what I would do, because you can't. I mean, kids. I mean, they're pre-K. They have accidents. So what you do is I usually would just request if I knew there was an accident or like they went in, if there's mud outside or something. I would always request for them to shampoo it. But at the last school I taught, which was actually it was a private school, I had thought, surely they're doing this, and this, like at all times. And then I had a child vomit all over my shoes one time. And I walk into the school the next day and I'm like, that is the same stain that was there yesterday.
Ew.
And so I said, did they shampoo the carpet? Well, did you request it? You, as my admin and director, saw the vom. I should have to request that. They didn't clean it. So instead of that, because it sat for more than 24 hours, I request a new carpet. Those things are expensive.
Oh yeah, like my school got me a new carpet this year because I didn't have one the past 2 years because of COVID, and they allowed me to bring it back this year. And I know 5th grade is like older, but I like us all coming together.
100%.
So I got this beautiful carpet from Amazon. It's I just put in a requisition for 2 different ones, and I give them a cheaper option and a more expensive
the one
option.
I want.
And they bought me the more expensive one, and it's this beautiful carpet. It has like orange, pink, blue, and silver like splatter all over it. It's real
That's
nice.
cute.
And one of my students was sitting, because I let them do flexible seating in my classroom.
Which is awesome.
And thank you. She was sitting on the beanbag chair the one day, and she had her water bottle. Well, she didn't realize her water bottle had been leaking the entire class time.
No.
So I'm like, that's no big deal. It's just water. Like, just get some paper towels, sop it up, it'll be all right. And she's like, I don't know if my mom put tea in here for me.
It was
and
tea,
I said,
babes. It was tea.
Okay, well, look at it. Does it look like tea? And she's like, I don't know. Because I think she was afraid I was getting mad.
Yeah.
And so I open it and I'm like, that's sweet tea.
Oh my
God. So we have awesome custodians. So I just called them and they brought
Shout
the
out
carpet
to the
scrubber.
custodians, man.
And they got that stain out like that.
That's
and I was
good.
like, my brand new carpet.
Oh my gosh.
Don't ruin the carpet.
Are you dripping on my floor?
I don't like when admin pokes their head in like they caught you doing something.
Oh
Why would they not just
gosh.
walk? They don't unlock the door and walk in. And my God, I have to tell my students when they trying to get up, sit down somewhere.
Oh yeah.
You don't get up and open my door. You don't know who at the door.
Right.
Ask, is that an adult or a child? If it's an adult, if it's admin, they got a key. Don't be getting up opening my door because I don't know who out there. Okay.
Right.
And some of these kids that be trying to skip class and come see me, I don't want to see them. Okay.
I don't want to see that.
So the admin, they'll unlock the door.
That's why they have 13,000 keys.
But they'll open the door and just poke their head. And they don't poke their head in hey, nah. They come in with the quick.
Catch up. Yeah.
Like they caught you doing something. I'm like, bro, at this point, y'all ain't got no subs. I'm not finna get up. Are you trying to catch me doing something?
What do you think
admin do that?
What do you think they're doing?
Oh my gosh.
They're not all the way in the room.
Every
Man,
time.
I'm not a child.
I
Don't try
told
to
you
catch
guys
me.
this story, but I'll tell them. So my principal at my old school was I had 2 different ones. We had one for 2 years, and then she got booted and sent to the other school because nobody liked her. She was mean.
Oop.
She was I'm gonna straight up say it. She was mean, and she played gotcha. She tried to
can't stand
get
it.
people in trouble all the time.
Can't stand it.
So I'm in the middle of class. I literally go over to my desk to turn on my document camera to teach math, and I had my email already pulled up on my desktop. Mm-hmm. And I see that I have an email from my principal. So I'm thinking, if she's emailing me during class time, it's probably something urgent. Let me check.
Right.
I click on the email, read it. She just needed a quick response to something. So I quickly just typed her an email, shot it back, and then got on teaching. 2 seconds later, I'm getting another email from her saying, I really appreciate your prompt response time. However, I noticed that this is a time that you have students in the classroom with you.
my
You should
gosh.
not be on your computer when you have students with you in the classroom. Please do not answer my emails until your own time.
I would've got it right up
Girl,
there.
you emailed me.
Right. I would have said, oops, sorry, right
Honest
away.
Honest teacher vibes would have got wrote up that day.
Oh my
I
God.
would've
got
That was
you.
when
That
I
is
was still in my
ridiculous.
okay,
And
I'm
that's
sorry,
frustrating.
phase.
Here's
No.
the thing. Here's my thing too. Just because you are a good teacher doesn't mean you're gonna be a good admin. There are some people.
100%.
There are some people
On a
that
power
school
trip.
districts, they be on a power trip for real. I'm like, nobody is trying. Nobody's against you, man. Nobody. But I'm like, you might have been a phenomenal teacher, and you might have been great, teacher of the year and all that. But leading adults and being a teacher to children is not the same thing. And I could never be an admin because I can deal with kids acting like kids. I can't deal with adults acting like kids. I can't do that at all. But the other thing that I'll say is some teachers walk in mad at admin, automatically admin ain't even do nothing to you.
Yes.
And so hear me when I say we know admin get on our nerves sometimes. They be over the top sometimes. But just like we want admin to see us as people, we need to see them as people too.
Yeah.
You wake up and before you ever walk in the building, you mad at admin, they didn't do nothing to you. You know what I'm saying? So, and then this is one of the other things that I came to recognize, and somebody said it earlier. Admin has pressure on them from people that's above them.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So when they're saying stuff to us, they're not necessarily trying to be hateful. They're not necessarily trying to micromanage.
It's usually not their choice.
Right. They gotta
Yeah.
do their job too, or else they're gonna get fired. You know. But some admin really are not like, they're not bad admin. So if you're a teacher and you can be toxic to admin because every
100%.
time you see them, you talking crap about them to somebody, they literally have done nothing to you. And we all complain about our admin. Hear me? But it's those certain people you can tell like they just do not like the person.
They
just because
like
they
live
title is
for
admin.
it. Yeah.
Well, and I always say when I'm like on a live or I'm on social media and people are like, I couldn't go to my uncle's funeral because they said we didn't have enough. I said, well, then your admin steps in. And people are like, what about the admin? I said, I would not want to be an admin right now, but my job is I'm advocating for the teachers.
Right.
That's not to say I have so much empathy towards admin because I can't imagine how stressful it would be to be able to deny people PTO because you just don't have the coverage.
Right.
There's I don't know the solution to that, but and I don't even know how to help them troubleshoot that. But what I do know is that it's not a teacher's problem, and you as the admin, it is your problem. Right. And I'm not saying I don't have empathy for you because I do not want to be in your shoes right now.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh,
Absolutely.
no.
I would never want to be an admin. And the admin at my school, they're not the kind of people that just be in their offices all the time. My admin, like literally walking around, interacting with kids. I saw this was like the sweetest thing to me. Our 6th grade principal is like this older black man. And he looks real serious, but he's like the sweetest guy ever. But he walks around like with his hands behind his back. You know what I'm saying? Like Joe Clark, like lean on me from East Side, very East Side High. So I saw him one day, and he normally has been the principal for 7th and 8th grade, but they moved him down to 6th grade this year. And so when you've been in 7th and 8th grade as a principal and you move to 6th grade, 6th grade essentially still feels like elementary school sometimes. Like it just until they get to that second semester where they but that first semester they still feel like they're in 5th grade.
Yeah.
So I saw him one day in the cafeteria and he looks so serious a lot of times. And I looked up and he was sitting, y'all know them little tables in the cafeteria, them some tiny tables. He was sitting down in between like 3 or 4 kids, just sitting down, a whole suit and tie on. Just sitting down in between those kids, just talking to them and hanging out. I was like,
that is
like the most
sweet.
precious thing ever because that, like, I don't know why, but I had just, the 4 years that I've been at my school, I've never seen a principal sit down in the cafeteria like at the same table as them.
That is
I'm
really
not saying
sweet.
I'm not saying they have never done it. I'm just saying I had never seen it. And as a teacher, I just thought that was the sweetest thing that this grown man in suit and tie sat down at that table with those kids, and he wasn't just sitting there. Like he was chatting it up with them. They was having a good time. That was, you know what I'm saying? Like it was the coolest. I don't know why, but I was just like, that is like so precious.
See, it's stories like that makes teachers really appreciate good administrators. Like we know that
we don't want this to sound like it's an administration bashing session because there's amazing admin out there and there's also some really crappy admin out there.
And like it's really unfortunate. There are some teachers like you who are really fortunate enough to have really awesome admin. But you know, I in my 4 years of teaching, your
admin was horrible.
And like it's not even a subjective thing. And like I did have a couple APs. I did have a couple assistant principals that like I loved them and they were so sweet and they were so supportive. But even just like an example of my principal, the last observation I had with him came and like marked me down. It was just during virtual learning. And was like, I know that you're not really teaching your kids what you should be teaching. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Because you spent so much time preparing lessons.
How many hours? 18 hours
for
one
content videos. And he's like, you're not even like showing those to the kids. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like every evaluation you've come to, you've seen them. And he's like, well, I went to your YouTube and I can't find them anywhere. And I was like, are you talking about my personal YouTube or my professional YouTube? And he just was silent for a second and was like, you have 2 YouTube accounts?
Bruh.
Speak on what
you know, sir.
One is for school and one is for not. Oh, I didn't know. Like, You literally have seen these
Came
videos.
in ready to accuse
Right.
You
you.
didn't
Right.
think
Oh,
that if
100%.
you
Came in
couldn't
ready to
find
accuse
them,
you.
you didn't think that if you couldn't find them that you might be in the wrong place. He didn't even dawn on him. Just instead decided
Like,
it
didn't
was
even
better.
give you the benefit of the doubt that
Right.
you're a good teacher
Didn't
and you
even
would put your
ask,
stuff.
Like, didn't even ask a question. Just decided to reprimand about it. And I was like, you have no idea what you're talking about.
Rude.
Absolutely
That
no
is
idea.
wrong.
Yes,
Get out of here with them
absolutely.
orthopedic shoes.
Have
on.
you? So I mean, because obviously we just talked about your admin
Yeah.
and social media. What is your? Because this is admin and evals, right? What does your
Right.
admin feel about social media? Do like they love that you guys do it, or are they like, man,
My
My-
principal loves that I have
My
a
admin,
TikTok.
as long as it's not anything inappropriate, he don't
Right,
care.
and,
Yeah.
Well, she. My principal knows that I don't put anything inappropriate on the internet ever, and my superintendent knows the same thing.
Right.
I actually got put on like a community outreach
oh, that's awesome.
committee because of my social media and
Right.
everything. And like parents in my district, even board members have commented on how good it is and
Right.
how the kids like see me as a person.
Right.
And,
And you have
that's
a
how I
lot
spin
of
it.
kids that follow
And that's
you.
how I spin it. Like
Yeah.
I like that the kids get to see me as a real human being and like
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
because
It's
your
important
kids
to see me
you have
having
kids
fun.
Follow
You got a lot of like
you.
more than I'm
that's
like
why even
Yeah.
sometimes when I work with like different brands and stuff and they're like, "Oh, we want to sell this I don't know. I'm going to use something I have never sponsored before. We want to sell this like back massager." And I'm like, "Listen, I want to
Right.
work with you,
right.
but it's not going to sell because I got 13-year-olds following me."
Right.
Like,
They
don't
already
know
know
back
back
massager.
massager.
It's not gonna work, dude. Like I'm
Right.
saving you money.
Right. You
So,
ain't gonna
like,
make no money off of
Yeah,
that.
I have mostly a lot of kids that follow
Yeah.
me because of the
And when you
content
first said that, I
make.
was like, no, you have a lot of followers. There's no way that. Girl, when I be looking at your video, the first 200 comments I could tell is kids.
"Oh
She-
yeah."
Oh, 100%.
her kids literally
Sometimes
know.
I
I
loyal
forget
kid
there are
following.
adults on the internet. I'm like, do any teachers follow me?
You
Like,
gotta look-
are there any of them out there?
Right.
And they make
Your
the cutest
students
fan
are loyal.
pages
I
about
was gonna
you.
say,
Like,
they
it's
have-
so
Dude,
Oh,
adorable.
yeah.
a kid commented on my thing, and I thought it was you. I was like, "Why?"
Do you want
is-
to hear something
Yeah,
cute?
Lawrence Woolley. I was like,
so
"That's
so
weird."
when I was at the airport yesterday flying here, I arrived at Pittsburgh Airport. I'm getting checked in, and one of my students was in line behind me, and I was like, "Hey girl, what's going on? Where are you going?" And she actually like made like a mini fan page for me because she loves my TikTok. And I guess her and one of the other fan pages like became friends over the internet, and they've actually like FaceTimed and everything. So like they made sure it was safe. And she and her mom were actually traveling to go meet them in real
That is
life.
so cute.
So they like
Good
were
news in
internet friends, and now
education.
they're friends in real life
That
too.
is the most precious
I
story
was like,
I've
that's
ever
so
heard in my
cute.
entire
Legitimately,
life.
like a actual superstar.
Stop! Don't.
You
The
have
children are
superstar.
I love that.
100%.
Miss Willie.
That is
Really,
adorable.
the
She keeps saying I'm not a perfect
children.
teacher.
That is
I
so
can't
cute.
tell.
Ma'am, you're bringing children to. You are making fun shops. That's
The
amazing.
Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
The Sisterhood of the Traveling Woolies.
influencer.
Secret Life of Bees.
Traveling fan pages. That's
Oh
what it
my
is.
gosh.
What
Okay, what
about-
about you? What about you guys? Your principals?
So, y'all already know that
Yeah, your
admin
principal
that
was
I
a hater.
had.
Hater for real.
He was
He
sipping on
probably
the
Reported
haterade.
her account. He was like, that's
He
why she got a
did.
community guideline
Probably.
violation.
So, like, when I first started social media, I asked him first. I was like, this is my plan. Like,
And you had other teachers
we
at your
already
school who
had
had-
other,
yeah.
like, TikTok
Right.
famous teachers at my school and in other places in the
So
county.
odd to me
Which
that
is
they're so-
unheard of because
Right.
like
There were,
I
like,
don't know any
three
other
of
popular
us.
ones.
It
Any
was
other
insane.
close to me.
Right.
I don't
It was
either.
insane. And like so like there was one, she was at 500,000 when I started, and then there was another guy who was at 800K when I started. Like, and he was at one of our feeder schools, and she was at my school. And so I asked him, I was like, hey, just letting you know, I want to do this. Great idea. Love it. Blah, blah, blah. Literally in the hallways throughout the year, like, would just give him updates. Oh, I just reached this milestone, that milestone. Great. So, blah, blah, blah. All
My
of a sudden,
favorite thing
one
is when
day-
Becca goes blah blah blah.
Blah,
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 blah.
blah, blah, blah.
I love it.
Blah, blah, blah.
But all of a sudden, one day, he literally was just like, why are you doing this? What do you mean? Why am I doing this? You shouldn't be doing that. It's unethical. And I'm like, I don't understand. I've literally like been keeping you
Did he
up
say
to
something
date.
to
this
the other
entire-
teachers?
No, like he's even given like in email form explicit permission to the girl at my school as long as it's not filmed during school hours.
Why did he single
You're
you
completely
out?
fine. But then all of a sudden was like, you can't do this, and I'm like, why? Well, it's unethical to film at school. And I'm like, well, you not only told this girl that it was okay,
right.
you gave me permission. I don't remember that.
I feel like even if you would have filmed at home, he still would have had a problem.
Yes. Well, like then he told me that I could green screen my way into a classroom.
Becca
and
was
I was
like, I ain't doing that.
Okay, sure. And then like summer hit, and then like HR was like, no, he's asked us to tell you that you cannot do that.
Oh my God.
What's green screen
like
your way
like when you have a green screen background.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
And then like he's like, you can act like you're in your classroom.
Like you can use a green screen.
Right.
Act like you're in I get what you're saying.
You're not gonna tell me that at my own house I can't use a green screen. Like, no.
He said that I could, but then asked HR to tell me that I couldn't.
Right. He was trying to do her dirty.
And literally, like, he tried to say because it was the county Wi-Fi, it's county property.
But they just be making up
that's
stuff.
a county wall in the background,
sir.
it's county property. So it's okay for her to do it.
I'm booing
and it's
him.
okay for this guy to do it.
No. It's a public school.
Right.
It's insane. It's crazy. And to this day, like the guy teacher still makes content in the gym. Because
he's a PE teacher.
Why did he single you out though?
It's so
and he really, because
weird.
me and Becca been friends for a while,
Yes.
and so we, before we ever did the podcast together, we were really good friends. And I mean, I would just be like, I cannot believe like some of the stuff, because my principal, he's just never done that. Like he was crazy. Like singling you out for real.
And that was a school that I left in September because I was like, I cannot.
Right,
like it
can't
doesn't
work like
make. If
this.
I had $1 for every time he either asked me to do something or gave me permission to do something or encouraged me to do something, but then turned around and couldn't remember that conversation, I would
That's
be
why
set
you
for
get
life.
everything in writing.
You better see
the
why.
permission for the other teacher was in writing. It was an email form.
Right.
I don't remember.
You, like I get everything.
It was crazy.
That would be so stressed. That would stress me out. I'd probably cry.
It was
quit.
I
did the same
somebody
thing.
single me out like that, I'd probably cry.
I
It
probably
was
I'd probably
ridiculous.
cuss them out and then cry. Then I'd be in trouble. I'm like, I cussed you out because I was crying.
I'm so
I need a
sorry.
behavior plan. I told y'all that already.
But what about you? What about your admin?
No, my admin has always had my back.
That
as
is
long as I
awesome.
don't. My
That is
admin
great.
always tells us don't ever say anything that I can't defend you.
Right.
Like he told
Yeah.
us
Right.
he told us that like in the classroom before I ever did social media. We had a meeting. He like, if you say something to a student that a parent calls me and tells me you said that and I can't defend you to the parent, don't ever say anything that I can't defend you on. And so he's always had my back with social media as long as I'm posting anything crazy.
That is great.
So he a real one. I got you if I ever make it big. I'm gonna send you some money. $20 on me.
What about you, Tom?
My experience is a little bit different. No, my administration loved it at first.
Wait a minute, you're not
why you say it
gonna
like that?
You're not gonna race past that like you didn't
you
just
ain't
say
gonna
that the way you
just
said
go
it.
Like you say what you just
my
said.
experience is it's a little varies. So they loved it at two of them loved it at I had 3 administrators. 2 of them loved it at first. Like talked to me about it all the time, like would send me video ideas, like they loved it. And then the other one like claimed she was like a super hip, like she was young. She's like maybe 45. She's probably 40 and I just made her mad. It's okay. But look, super hip, super young. And she was like, I don't know what TikTok. You have like almost teen children. You know what TikTok is.
Right.
But it's totally whatever. And then it's funny because like each teacher creator has different guidelines and rules that they follow, right? So like some people, like I know I do things that a WAD teacher would never say or do.
Yeah, we had this conversation before. Like
Right.
things you're comfortable with,
It's
maybe
thing
we wouldn't be. Things
uncomfortable
we
with.
do,
Right.
you wouldn't
right.
be.
And so like there are things that I would say that you guys would never say, but there's places that you guys record I would never record. Like I knew that I would never record in my classroom. I would never record students' voices or even students in the room because I didn't record my classroom. I would
I
say
can't do
where
that.
I
I'm not
worked
allowed to
and I
do
would
that.
never use a student's name that I've had in the last 9 years. Like never, ever, ever. And so I was always very careful about what I did. Because and also like I don't have I didn't have any students that were on TikTok because they're 5.
Right.
It's just parents. So BuzzFeed picked up something and a parent called and was like, is Tell drinking in the classroom? And she's like, what? And she looked at the thing. I was at home with water in a wine glass. It wasn't even alcohol. And I pretended to be teaching on Zoom. We taught for 2 weeks on Zoom. I've never done that. So they pulled me in and she's like, you just need to be careful about your professionalism, Tell. Hundreds of people see these videos. I said hundreds, thousands, millions. And
Don't you downplay my views.
Dropped. She was like, so it's fine. Did they love
you.
it? No.
No.
But did I do a single policy violation? Also no. Still
I
have
love that. Hundreds? What you mean hundreds? That's what
Hundreds,
Joey's are.
millions.
Thousands.
We are getting flagged down. They're giving us like wave signs. They're like, it's been too long.
Oh, you're talking about them.
They were like, they looked at me and they were
They're like, we want to go home.
This is too much. So I think, can you take us out?
Oh,
This is
absolutely.
how sleepy I was. I was like, what is he talking? I thought you were talking about your principal was
I didn't
flagging you
even
down. I
realize
was
it
like,
at first either. It's
she
just
at
so
airport
exhausting.
security?
The
Was she
lights are so
flagging?
blinding. But
She flagged
we
me down.
hope that you enjoyed a lot of our stories from today. We hope that you contribute some of your own admin eval stories in the comments. We would love to read them. We
Oh,
love laughing with you guys.
please.
We love seeing you guys interact with each other. So definitely do that. We hope you have a fabulous rest of your week, and we love you guys so much.
Bye.
Bye, my lovelies.